And we are live once again. Once again. How about that first half, that first segment of day one, guys? Pretty, in the words of our youth, pretty legit or pretty lit, right? It was amazing, amazing, amazing. Um, And what follows, guys, is nothing short of that. Nothing short of that. So, enough of me talking. I'm going to be a teacher right now. Teachers, you're going to be probably relate to what I'm about to say. I'm going to wait a few minutes so that the others log in.
Hey everyone, Jeff Mulvihill here from Sonar Drums, Mapex Drums, and Majestic Percussion. Shout out to everyone at the Valley Percussion Festival. Follow on socials, Valley Percussion Festival, for an exciting, inspiring list of virtual events coming up beginning on May 8th. There's really a wide range of inspiring talent ready to share some drumming, share some music, share some education, share some inspiration with all of you. And I can't say enough about Gilbert Garcia for organizing this event as a tool for you guys to really make some progress on your percussion journey. 2020 was extremely challenging for all of us, and I know we're all looking for ways to stay inspired and stay progressing in our music making. So please check out the Valley Percussion Festival. I'm Jeff Mulvihill. Good luck in 2021, everyone. Stay healthy. Hey everyone, Jeff Mulvihill here from Sonar Drums, Mapex Drums, and Majestic Percussion. Shout out to everyone at the Valley Percussion Festival. Follow on socials, Valley Percussion Festival, for an exciting, inspiring list of virtual events coming up beginning on May 8th. There's really a wide range of inspiring talent ready to share some drumming, share some music, share some education, share some inspiration with all of you. And I can't say enough about Gilbert Garcia for organizing this event as a tool for you guys to really make some progress on your percussion journey. 2020 was extremely challenging for all of us, and I know we're all looking for ways to stay inspired and stay progressing in our music making. So please check out the Valley Percussion Festival. I'm Jeff Mulvihill. Good luck in 2021, everyone. Stay healthy.
Beautiful words by Mr. Mulvihill. Um, I think they're so fitting. And just in case some viewers weren't here early in the morning, I wanted to make sure that they get to hear that because I think the message that it entails is fitting and inspiring. Um, I have some very big news, people. Very big news. In the next performance that you're going to see from Rolf Nader, there is a contest that's going to happen in relation to the next performance. And you want to make sure that you watch the performance, and I'll give more details further after we see it. Okay, but you wanna stay tuned. You wanna be really aware of this performance. There's a lot of footage of BYOS, um, a lot of content available in YouTube and in other social media platforms. But uh, I'm gonna tell you something. Ralph Nader has put up some amazing content, but this one I am sure 100% you're gonna agree with me. He nailed it out of the ballpark. Here we go.
Y'all gon' make me lose my mind. Hey, yo, what's my name? Y'all gon' make me go all out. DMX. Y'all gon' make me act a fool. Hey, yo, what's my name? Y'all gon' make me lose my cool. I tried so hard. What you really want? What you really want? It doesn't even matter. Come on, try so hard. What you really want? It doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter. Come on, try. Give me a sign. Stop. Stop. Shut 'em down, open up shop. Oh, no. Now I'm around and stop. And we can ride the boogie, share that beat of love. I wanna
When he submitted his performance, guys, it was my jaw hit the floor. Amazing clinic. Um, so now we have some performance artist series that we're going to be watching. In regards to the performance that you just saw with Rolf Nader, guys, there's going to be a competition, and Offworld is going to be giving away one of the BYOS pads. Okay, and you're gonna have to learn. More than likely, it's gonna be a segment, but you gotta stay tuned to Valley Percussion Festival. Uh, Facebook and Instagram, we will be posting all the details of this contest. Uh, So you got to follow, you got to like and share so that other people can grab a hold of this opportunity. And you'll find all the details. Make sure you're following and you're liking and sharing it, and say hi, guys. We really enjoy interacting with you. So without further ado, now let's make a switch and go to University of North Texas Performing Artist Series segment. And here we getting it ready. And we are ready to roll here. Here we go.
Anything I've done, I'm not about to do. Anything I've done, I'm not about to do. I'm not about to do. Anything I've done, 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 anything I've done, anything I've done, anything I've done, I'm not about to do.
I can't hear you, Hill. I can't hear you. Are you muted? There we
There
go.
we go. There we go. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing excellent. How are you doing, Gil?
Doing great, man. What a performance! What a performance! And where you've taken the application of percussion instruments, a mallet instrument, the Pearl Mallet Station, and you're taking it into a hip hop realm. I think that's incredible, and it's inspiring, especially to the young ones, right? The young aspiring percussionists of what they can do. And in reality, when their teacher says there's no limit to what you can do, there's really no limit to what they can do, right?
Seriously, right? And it needs to be said that when I was in middle school, when I was in high school, studying percussion and just getting started with all of this opportunity didn't even exist. You know,
Exactly.
there was no one that was applying percussion like this to the hip hop genre. And so for me, personally, I grew up loving hip hop rap music. We all are products of our environment, right? And so whatever we're immersed in, whatever we're surrounded by, that's what's going to really influence us, right? And so when I was in school, I loved a certain type of music, but then every time I studied percussion, I couldn't find it, right? It was like nowhere
Yes.
to be seen, nowhere to be heard. So this galaxy thing that I stumbled upon has just been so much fun, getting to combine my love for hip hop with all of my classically trained percussion skills.
Yes, yes, yes. And I think it's amazing. It's amazing the way that you've overlapped it and made something of it. And Nick, so that lick, that lick that you wrote, I was taking a look at it, and man, it's something else. It is something else. Uh, Tell us about it, please.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so with this lick, first and foremost, tell me this, Gil. I know that our times are a little shifted. How much
Yes.
time do I have to break this lick down for us?
Uh, I guess let's say about 10, 15 minutes.
Okay, 10 minutes,
Yeah,
no problem.
yeah.
All right. So with this lick, I wrote in my rhythm of conscience style. And for those of you who haven't heard of rhythm of conscience, it's not consciousness. It's literally conscience. 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 But there's a Facebook page, Rhythm of Conscience. All these etudes are free to drum through. You can download them. I just give them away. But the point of these rhythm of conscience pieces is when I compose them without second guessing myself, without questioning whether or not I've made the right decision as a composer. as a creator. So often as creatives, when we're trying to create something out of the blue, right, from nothing, we really can stick to that perfectionist quality so much that it hinders us. It sort of paralyzes our ability to create because nothing is good enough, right? And we always second guess. We say, no, that's not the one. Let's try this. No, that's not it. Let's try this. With the rhythm of conscience, everything that's written on the page, it comes to me, and then literally we write it in ink, right? So when I write these beats, I write them with a pen, right? And that allows me, right, to stay to it. I have to stay true to that idea. I can't second guess it, right? There's no erasing, there's no start overs. So it's really a personal exercise for me, right, to step away from feeling guilty about something or shaming myself for, oh, it's not good enough, it's not good enough. And it's really been freeing. So anyways, now let's get into the specific rhythms. Okay, so I got my drum pad right here.
Awesome. And real quick, if I may say something really quick, Nick,
Yeah,
for the audience that is watching us, I uploaded the PDF files into the Valley Percussion Festival Facebook page and into the Instagram page as well. So make sure that you grab those and you can follow along.
excellent. All right, so we're going to stay on schedule here. I'm going to give you a breakdown through each measure of the piece. Okay, there's some rhythms in here that look a little funky, a little funny. So I'm going to do a quick breakdown of that. First measure. Okay, now the inspiration for this was literally Valley Percussion Festival. Now, one thing I love to do is to think about the phonetic rhythm, right? With words, when we speak, there's so much rhythm embedded in language, right? We're constantly delivering these rhythms through communication, but we rarely think about it, right? So Valley Percussion Festival, 1 E up to E, right? So those first two counts basically is kind of coming from Valley Percussion Festival, right? Now the next two counts, 8 16th notes in the space of 7 16th notes, right? And if you notice it, we still have flam, 2 taps, flam, 1 tap, flam, 2 taps. So it's the same rhythm we just played, 1 E and up to E and but now we have to squeeze it into a slightly smaller space, okay? So I'm going to turn my metronome on. Here's the first measure. So 1, 2, ready, and. Okay, now I know that one's right out of the gate. Like, whoa, that's tricky. It's weird to feel, right? There's no subdivision. There's no middle point for us to know, okay, yeah, that's a nice checkpoint for us, right? So you're going to have to get used to that. You're going to have to just get used to the feel, okay? But that's how that 8/7 works. Now, the second measure, we're really just sticking to the duple feel here. We've got some 30 seconds, some 8th notes, and a couple 16ths, okay? So there's the first two measures. And 1, 2. All right? Check it. That's how we would sing the second bar. Check it. Here it is one more time. First 2 bars. 1, 2, ready, and. All right, and now third bar, we're sticking to 16th notes. We've got some flam variations, some stickings. There's a couple inverted flam taps in there, some flam 3s, and then there's some funky stickings with the 30-second notes in that last beat, okay? But also look in there, we still see that Valley Percussion Festival. We've got the grouping of 3 16ths, E and A, grouping of 2 16ths, 2 E, and then the grouping of 3 16ths and 3. right? So that Valley Percussion Festival is still embedded in there, but now it's shifted by a 16th note. All right, here's our first three measures. 1, 2. All right, now moving on. The fourth measure is actually a continuation of the third measure. All right, sometimes I like to compose, they call it over the bar line, right? Sometimes we limit ourselves to thinking just simply in between the two bar lines, right, for this one specific measure. But if we can think of maybe sometimes that second bar line as being kind of invisible, right, and pretending that we can sort of write any rhythm that stretches over that into the next measure, right? Not really limited by those bar lines or the time signature, okay? So we're just going to add the fourth bar. Here's the first 4 bars. 1, 2. All right. 5-lit roll, decrescendo on that last count, right? Left hand release. Anytime we have odd groupings and it's a natural sticking, we always know we end on the opposite hand, right? From which we start. Okay, now I know I really wish we could spend another 10 minutes on this, but we got to stay on schedule, right? We've got so many great clinics today. So here we go. I'm going to play this thing from the top to bottom, okay? Now, these last 4 bars, there's a lot going on, okay? A lot going on. Really quick, 5th bar, that first 5-lit, it follows an 8th note, right? So it's a 5-lit, but it starts on the upbeat. So that 5-lit starts on the and a 1. The next sextuplet is going to come back to the downbeat. We'll start on 3, okay? And then the next bar, notice we start that bar with an 8th note as well, but then the 5-lit that follows that, that's a 5 over 3/16, right? So it's slightly faster than the previous measure's 5-lit. Now the 7th bar, a lot of 32nd notes, some funky stickings in there, but again, there's some over the bar line stuff. Check out the end of measure 6 into measure 7. It's got a really nice flow to it. And then finally, the last bar, one more over the bar line thing, that last sextuplet in measure 7 into the first sextuplet in measure 8. Some funky stuff in there, really fun to do. Okay, I'm going to play the whole thing for you. Here we go. Valley Percussion Festival, Valley Percussion Festival. 1, 2, ready and on. Oh, I messed up that transition. So let's see. End of 6 into 7. So here's the count 3 of measure 6. 1, 2, count 3 of measure 6. 3. There it is. All right, one last chance. Here we go. Whole thing. Last time. 1, 2, ready and on. Boom. And there is the lick, y'all. Thank you so much for listening. If you're interested, got the Galaxy shirts, the merch right here. I've got records, selling some music out there. Thank you so much, y'all, for supporting and checking this out. And there's going to be so many great clinicians for the rest of this festival. Thank you so much, Gil.
Nick, incredible, incredible, incredible. I want to ask you something, Nick. Can you adding to your first segment of Galaxy, can you add something to that, please? I know you
Yeah.
had some topics or considerations that you wanted to share with us.
Yeah, absolutely. I just now saw your message that we got a little bit more time. So, yeah,
Yes.
no problem. I wish I would have seen that before I rush through the last part of the lick. Um, but anyways, yeah. So with the Galaxy thing, um, the Galaxy thing. So I'm sorry. Did you have a specific question on the Galaxy thing, or do you want me to just kind of talk about how the idea came up?
Exactly, exactly. Elaborate on that, please.
Yeah, absolutely. So honestly, I was okay. So I was in a place. This was about 8 years after I graduated college. Okay, so I went to college, University of North Texas. I got my bachelor's in percussion performance, and I graduated in 2003. And so from 2003 until about 2010, 11, I was teaching full time. But as opposed to being a director, I was more of the hired gun. I would come in and work with, a couple drum lines. I would teach lessons. I was sort of the assistant, but I worked in the Louisville School District and I worked in the Frisco School District. In the Dallas area. But so I was so involved in marching percussion and, that the typical public school percussion education that we're all so, familiar with. I was very much focused on that world, and I was finding that I wasn't happy. And it wasn't that I wasn't enjoying the teaching, helping students, kind of take that same path that I did. It was that I just kind of felt like something was missing. I'd always been so drawn to performance, and I'm the type of person that just has always had too many ideas. We get all these great ideas, but we don't know where to go with them, right? And they kind of just get
Yes.
all chaotic and jumbled up, and then we don't do anything with it. So I was trying to figure out my next move. I knew that I wasn't going to be able to do what I was doing forever. And I literally one day was on the computer and I'm just doing some exploring, right? Checking out YouTube, whatnot. And I'm watching this video of a front ensemble. It was like a Bands of America thing, right? I'm watching a video of a front ensemble and someone's playing a xylosynth, right? A mallet cat, just a MIDI mallet percussion instrument. And in that application, they might have, had a string patch or a synth patch, right? And they're just playing along with the marching band. But when I saw that video, there was this really crucial moment for me. I literally heard the angelic choir from above, and I'm not a religious person. I'm a spiritual person, but I'm not a religious person. And so I hear this angelic choir and I go, wait a minute, wait, that instrument is full MIDI, completely MIDI, which means I can make it sound like anything, literally anything. And every single individual key, every individual trigger, I can make that sound like something different, right? We're so used to thinking in that world that when we set a sound, right, a string patch, a bass patch, some sort of sub bass thing to really support the rest of the marching band, right? Whatever it is. But really, with the technology, we can assign a different sound to every single one of those triggers, every single one of those keys. So it took me about 3 years after I had that epiphany, just personal epiphany for myself, before I was ready to perform, before I was actually ready to show it to somebody, right? So it took me 3 years in the privacy of my room, just exploring and trying to figure it out, right? And a lot of what I was trying to figure out was the best way to structure it, right? Because I knew I wanted to do it with 4 mallet technique, right? Because even though I'm set what what most people would say, oh, Nick's a drummer, right? Most people who know me here in Portland, my friends, they refer to me as a drummer, right? But those of you out there that know me, you know that I'm a percussionist, right? And so for me, I've always had a love for the melodic side and the rhythmic side of percussion, right? And for me, oftentimes, I struggled with that. I struggled so hard. I had my teachers, my professors, my mentors, they're saying, Nick, what are you going to do? What do you really want to focus on? Nick, do you really want to focus on marimba? Then let's do it. Nick, do you really want to focus on drums? Well, then let's do it. And when I was a student, I couldn't make up my mind. I had so much love for both worlds. So now, right, I take those 3 years and I combine those two loves, right? The melodic and the rhythmic loves that I have for percussion are literally synthesized, just fused together in this Galaxy project, right? So once I structured it and I figured out how to make it work efficiently, putting a kick drum here, putting a snare drum here, having my hi-hat here, having this octave reserved for my longer playing samples, having this octave reserved for something more melodic, that type of thing. Once I structured it out like that and got fluid and comfortable with that muscle memory, now, wow. Once I got to that point, now anytime I get a new sound in my head, where I'm ready to write something new, make a new beat, write a new song, it'll take me 5 minutes to set it up, right? So the actual structuring of the sounds on the instrument, that part, which is rooted in technology and computers and software and whatnot, that's actually the easiest part, right? And believe me, I know how it feels when technology moves faster than us and we feel like we're catching up, right? And can feel really intimidated. We can feel like, wow, I don't even know where to start. I'm not even going to go there, right? But take it from me, if you do decide to explore this type of thing with the newer side of the technology, oh, thanks, Ray. Glad you dug the lick. Thank you. If you decide to take the step into this, this more modern approach to percussion, just know that the technology will not be overwhelming. And if you do go there and you're having trouble, reach out to me because, this being such a new environment, right? Taking all those classical percussion elements, but bringing them into the modern world, using the technology and electronics that we have on hand right now. Please reach out to me. I would love to help you. And that's just because I love this, right? That's not me trying to get work. And then to wrap that thought up, then it like the work really comes down to refining your sounds. Because when you heard me play that Galaxy tune, every single one of those sounds, I went in, I EQ'd it, I compressed it, I tweaked it, I put the effects on it, I customized all those sounds because, for me, this is very personal, right? So if I could, give you a little bit of detailed input, that's where you're going to spend your time. Get your sounds really sounding the way you like, and then setting it up is going to be a cinch, And like I said, reach out to me if you need help with that.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. And I did want you to share this with us, Nick, and with the public, because I've read a lot of literature and success oriented literature, and one of the things that really has stuck to my head and your what you're doing with the instrumentation made me remember when you have an idea. We sometimes get that sensation of it's a good idea. I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to shape this, and then I'm going to take it this way, and then I'm going to push it even further. And that's the feelings that we get when we get an idea. But then the thought usually comes up saying, no, people are not going to like it, or it's not gonna be well received,
Yeah.
or it's my idea, so no, it's not gonna be good just because it's my idea. That's what we tend to think as humans. It's not gonna take us anywhere. And you're a beautiful example of, you got the idea and you actually compressed, three passions of yours, and you
Mm,
created this. And the same thing for even us as adults and our young ones. You have an idea, act upon it, and it's gonna take you somewhere. Take you somewhere. It's your idea. Love it, build it, and push it as far as you can. And I think that that's why I wanted you to speak a little bit more about this, because it's beautiful, man. And the way it embodies this concept, I think, is something that we can all take away from this.
Mm, thank you so much, Gil. Well said. Do you mind if I say one last thing about that?
Please do.
So yeah, just on what you said, I want everybody to know out there that, these ideas that we come up with sometimes that feel so far away from us, right? Like, how could I ever attain that, right? It's so far away. It took me a long time to get to this place where I realized this idea, right? The idea started completely intangible, completely nobody was doing it, it didn't exist. It took a lot of time to bring it into reality, right? But I'm not making any money. I'm not making any money from it. So, what we have to understand is that, think about the intention and the motivation, right? If we're doing something strictly to make money, well, that's going to have its own set of results, right? Maybe you'll make some money. But if we do something with the intention of, because we have a strong passion for it, because we love it so much, and we're going to work on this and bring it into existence, right? It may not help us pay rent, but the feeling we have in our heart, right, from following our passion is going to be more than any bank account, right, could
Yes.
possibly bring us.
I totally agree. I totally agree, and that's satisfying it to at another level, for all of us. Well, Nick, thank you so much for being willing to share from yourself, from your knowledge, from your talent. We definitely enjoyed it, and thank you for that lick, and being adding one more piece to the rhythm of conscience. I think that is. Um, that's amazing, man. That is amazing. And well, you're welcome here anytime. We need to bring you down live to one of our events.
Oh,
And yes, so it would be incredible. It would be incredible. Well, Nick, thank you so much, man. And with this, we move on to our next segment, which is a clinic by Mr. Gustavo Miranda. Nick, thank you so much.
hey,
We're moving
thanks,
into the next
Gil.
segment.
Peace out.
Take care. There you have it, guys. Going on to the next segment. Next segment. Here we go.
Hi everyone, my name is Gustavo Miranda. I teach percussion here at Nicholls State University in Louisiana, and it's a pleasure to be here with you today. I would like to thank Mr. Gilbert Garcia for inviting me, for putting this awesome event together. I think the percussion community owes you a big one. So today I want to talk to you about developing musicality through free improvisation. This is a cool exercise that I realized I've been putting together over the past years. And it's a clinic that I usually do in person that's very interactive. I usually get students to come up and play with me. And the cool thing about this clinic too is, and that about this exercise, is that it applies to pretty much any level of, for a student or for a performer in general. If you're a beginner, intermediate, or advanced, you'll be able to perform, to work on musicality, work on these musical gestures, because you're pretty much just playing around with the instrument, which is something we forget to do sometimes, to have some fun and just play around with the instrument. So the idea of improvisation can be something very intimidating, a concept that's very intimidating sometimes. People think about jazz right away when they hear the word free improvisation. So the key here is to think about free improvisation, right? And as in the sense of music without rules. But you see, that's how I start. One of the concepts that I developed was to first to start with zero rules, no rules. You pretty much play around on the instrument. You touch the instrument, you see what comes out, and then you play around with that. The idea is to create musical gestures and be okay with whatever comes out. And with time, you're going to start getting more and more comfortable. The idea is to go beyond the general expectations of Western music, of what we have. For years we listened to music a certain way. You want it to be pretty, you want it to be this or that, sad or happy. So the idea is to embrace the sound and then play around with it as much as you can. So I'm going to start playing. I'm going to do a little bit on the marimba. I'm going to go around here and show you how it works in other instruments as well. But we're going to start with the marimba today. I'm going to do pretty much that. Just play around with the instrument. I don't have anything in mind right now. I'm just going to start playing, and then as I start developing, you see that sort of like a piece will come together as I play. But the key here is to think about phrases and develop gestures with whatever the instrument gives to you. So I hope you enjoyed this. kind of just went with whatever popped up in my head. Um, and then I started playing around and developing. And the cool thing about this too is I can do whatever my technique allows me to do, right? So I work with things that I'm good at, and sometimes it's a good opportunity for you to work with things that you're not so good at as well, right? So if something you're working on a piece is like a one-handed roll, it's a good chance for you to play around. There's not the responsibility of being accurate and super awesome with it right away. So this freedom that you have to play around with it is what I think is pretty cool about it. The other two pieces is going to be a little more structured, and I'll talk about how I think about them, and the other methods I use for the free improvisation. And they're not so much free anymore, but it's a way of implementing even more technique into this exercise. So you're no longer working on musicality and the rest is whatever happened. So it's musicality and technique. You have goals in terms of what you want to do with your hands, and also in a sense even like music theory for one of these methods as well, because you're thinking about chord a little, even if you have a very raw idea of music theory, what chord progression and all that, you can still make some cool music with this exercise. So for this next one, we're gonna try something different here. So I'm gonna be playing on the vibraphone, and I want to experiment with scales and movements that I'm comfortable with. So let's say I'm a beginner, and all I know is a G major scale and a D minor scale or something like that. I'm gonna play around with only those two things. So I'm gonna play around with a scale that I really like, which is octatonic scale, and the other cool thing you can do too is try to put two things together. So you can play with the scale you like, and usually when I do this in person, I'll ask the members in the audience to give me like any scale, major, minor, octatonic, whatever scale they want to give me, or mode, and I'll play around with whatever they give me. But the other thing I like to implement here is to add kind of movements and motions and rhythms from pieces that I've played before. Okay, and I mentioned, and you can be a piece for marimba that I'm adapting here, or a piece for vibraphone that I'm adapting here, a piece for multi-percussion that I'm adapting the rhythm over here. Whatever, like I'm inspired from, like bringing things that you like into the scale that, you can draw like a scale, can have like all 12 major scales, let's say in a hat, and pull one and see and play around with that. Which is actually something we're going to do later when I go back to marimba, actually. So I hope you enjoyed this. as I mentioned, as I was playing that, I'm thinking about pieces I've played before, and I have a certain scale in mind, and I play around with some variations there. I was playing some octatonic scale, but then at some point I try to play around with some C minor too. But I was using motion and phrases, musical ideas from other pieces that I played before, which I'm not going to tell you. I want you to send me an email and try to guess it, and I'll respond to you right away. I'll let you know if you got it right or wrong, and or I'll let you know what they are actually if you email me. It's a cool thing that we're not close together. Well, you can do that. Please send those emails. I will answer any question you may have about the whole clinic or anything you may want to ask. But I'd like to know how many of you would guess what pieces was I thinking of as I was playing that. So next here I want to go to the more free kind of stuff again that we did here at the marimba on the a multi-setup kind of thing. And this is something you can play around on your front ensemble rack. If you have a lot of stuff in front of your marimba, your vibraphone, your xylophone, just play around with it. 2 mallets. Play around with it. Play, cymbals and other things. As a drummer, as a percussionist, that's very important to you, right? Be comfortable with the sounds that you want to get from the instrument and all of that as you're playing. And that's, in a way, if we can make music out of objects like that, right? This should be easier for you if you think about it. Actually, the drums and percussion instruments in general are a great resource to practice musicality. If you can't make music on a snare drum, on a piece of pipe, then marimba should be easy, or vibraphone or keyboard instruments in general should be easy for you to express yourself. So let's move back there. I'm going to strike very, very free, just like we did with the marimba, and let's see what we can come up with. Now that was one of my favorite ones, is playing around with multi-percussion setups, just the possibilities, the many things you can do with multi-setup. I think it's pretty cool. And again, like I mentioned, if you can make music with that and be comfortable with that, right? Experimenting with the sounds, and sometimes, like as I was playing just now, there are certain sounds I didn't like so much, but you go with it, right? You wait until the next one and you see if it's a little better. You try to have fun with it and be okay with whatever you can come up with. And of course, like if you're actually playing the setup, if you use your setup, like I mentioned before, if you have a rack on your on your instrument for your front ensemble, whatever, and you have instruments that are usually there, and you want to get that muscle memory developed. You want to know exactly where they are. Just doing things like this, developing. This was literally something I just put together and right before I set up the cameras and all, and I decided to play around with what I have. So it's not a setup for a piece that I'm playing or anything like that. But usually that's the way I like to do it. Like if I'm performing, Canned Heat or Firewire, whatever piece you're working on, Rebounds, A, B, play around with the drums. Don't play exactly what's in the music. Don't play just what's in the music. Work around with the frame improv as well. It's a really good thing. And here's what I want to ask you to do. Please, if you start doing this and you get any results, not only message me now during the clinic to tell me that you're gonna try to do it, but also do it in the future. Like you're gonna have my email, write it down, try. You can find me on social media as well, but try it out. And then, record yourself. Get your phone, put it on a music stand, record yourself. If you like what you have, or if you don't like what you have, send it to me. Send it to me, please. I want to see what you have, what you can come up with. And I think you'll be surprised. If you never try to do anything like this, I think you'll be surprised with what you can come up with. So the next one is one of my favorite ones. It's the one I interact with the audience the most. It's the one I usually get the best reaction from students. I usually, when I do this in person, I'll go around the room, like I mentioned in the beginning, and I'll ask people to give me random numbers. Sometimes I like to surprise the audience. I'll ask for numbers, because if I give notes, people start to think of a chord. So I like to throw them off sometimes, and just numbers from 0 to 11 or 1 to 12. And then I'll go, 0 is C, C sharp is 1, D, just kind of like a post-tonal theory kind of thing. Assign numbers for chromatic notes. And then with the numbers that they give me, I play around. I've done once in a clinic, I played my phone number and then I asked the audience to see if they could guess. I got some people around when you didn't have to do 6 foot distancing kind of thing. I have people right here, and I play a theme, repetitive, like just played it again and again, and got people to guess my number. Someone got really close, but I decided to get a little creative, and I'm gonna do what I did. I got the notes of a old glockenspiel that we have. They're all inside this little wooden box that we usually use for or tambourine playing. We put it upside down and put your foot here to play tambourine. I'm sorry. So I'm gonna just select a few and see what we have here, and then I'm going to play the last one out of the notes that we get out of this box. Okay, so first one, what we got, it is A sharp. I hope you can see it. Okay, it's an old glockenspiel too, so it gives you the little, I'm not going to look, I looked. Freehand, I didn't get anything that I saw already. There you go, something else. That is C. Let's get, how many should I get? 4 or 5? And they get 4 notes. Sometimes I'd just like to get 3 and play around with it. There you go. A G. Let's get another one. Big one. A sharp, another A sharp. So I guess 3 it is. 3 it is. Let's play with what we have. So A sharp, G, and C. That's what I'm going to do. Explore with those different methods. Let me know what happens. I would love to see the final result of what you can come up with. Send me a little video, even if you don't want, if you're not ready for the world to see. Just make it unlisted. Send it to me. Send some questions. Thanks again for hanging out with me. Thanks for staying through this whole masterclass. Thank you, Gilbert, again for the invite. Thanks, my sponsor, Black Swamp. Solius Percussion and Sabian for helping me out with everything. And I hope you enjoyed this. I'll see you soon, hopefully.
What a
Hello.
clinic, man. What a
Oh,
clinic. Can you hear
thank
me?
you. Yes, yes, sir.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Wow, man, it's incredible the way you adapted it to a multi percussion setup, and you took it from one surface or instrument to another, man. Um, I'm curious, you know, what prompted this topic, this clinic.
Yeah. I mean, this was something I realized in a lot of my lessons, like early on, I would have, the comment of like being musical. And I started questioning what musical meant and how, and as you start discussing that with more musicians, people will talk about musicality as being something that you have naturally. But, someone that like me that wasn't exposed to music a whole lot, I didn't have my family, there wasn't any musicians in my family or anything like that. And I started kind of late with music too. I kind of refused to believe that was true. That was something that just you either have or not. And as an educator nowadays, I see that a lot of my students that don't have that natural talent to phrase music and to create music, in a more creative way, that they can get there, right? It's just a set of skills, just like anything else. You go in the practice room to practice your one-handed roll, but you never go with the intent of like, today I want to focus on being more musical, right?
Yes, yes.
And yeah, and a lot of times I started realizing like the concept as educators sometimes can be as broad as like telling your student to be more musical, but we don't tell them how to do it. We don't tell them like how to get there. Like how do you go from someone that doesn't, you don't see yourself as a creative person, and I've never saw myself as a creative person. If I try to write
Wow,
any of this stuff
wow.
down, if I try to write any of the stuff down, it's a mess. Like I never liked it, and I've tried to be a composer before, and it's not my thing. But with these, the first time I did this clinic, I got a really good reaction because I got the audience to give me random notes, and then just from the spot, I started playing music, and people were like, "Are you sure that's not something you played before?" I'm like, "No, you guys gave me the notes and all that."
Did
But
you prep the audience?
yeah, but what I started realizing that I did in terms of like different than most students do is that I spend more time with the instrument, playing around with the instrument without the responsibility of just learning music, just learning like a repertoire, and like, because that's what we usually do. We go into the practice room, we practice scales, and I did all of that, but I would always have like a little section of my practice section that was for to have fun, to jam around and play with the instrument, and I feel like that's what kind of brought me to this next level with musicality. And because in a way, as you're playing around and you don't have the responsibility to play what's in the page, and you're okay with whatever
Yeah,
comes
yeah.
out, you're working with musical gestures and and just phrasing things with whatever comes out of the instrument. And and then I started working this method with my students and getting great results from it. So this is something sometimes I do as an ensemble. I don't know if you remember, but the first time I came down to Valley, I did a clinic like
Yes.
that, and I had
Yes.
two of Dr. Moore's students come up and play, and they just started playing. It was like a super jam section. Like they're like, "What are you going to do?" And they're like, "Nope, nope, no rules. Just go and start playing." And they started playing, and out of nowhere, they had like the C minor, A flat kind of key going on, and they played so well. The audience was like, "Oh my goodness, that was so good."
Yeah,
All
I
right.
remember that. I
And it
remember
wasn't
that. That
even
was
me. It
beautiful,
was
man.
it was them, but they didn't
Yes,
know they could do that, which is
exactly.
yeah.
And I think it's beautiful, and it's important that you said they didn't think they could do that, and how you know it the mind and the body can make new connections, right? And it's all in a matter of practice. For example, in drum set, they practice trading licks to develop a soloing ability and soloing ideas. And the more that you do it, the better that you get at it. And I've had conversations with certain composers, and they say, Lalo Davila is a perfect example. He says, I write something every day. Every
Yeah.
day I sit down and write something, and that's what works, that part of the brain that requires those pathways, right, to be able to be creative, right?
Yeah.
If that's what we're working on. And I think you this is a great means for us, even us as adults, to develop this musicality, and take it even into other aspects or modalities of our playing, right?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't have any like I like to show it on multi percussion as well, because I think we need to see. I saw Nick was just saying, you see myself as a percussionist, not drummer, this or that, and I 100% agree. I mean, we got to think about ourselves as like even more like musicians. Like I'm a musician, I'm an artist. I need to think about music as the art of sound, not as something that a set of skills that I learn and I go in there and I apply. Because Sibelius and Finale is kicking our butts. Excuse me, and they
Yes,
can't do that
yes,
much better nowadays. So like we got to bring the human part to it as well, and I think
yes.
that's what that's what we come in with, the whole creative part of it. And it's impressive what some people can do out there, but like if you're not thinking about how am I an artist? If I just learn how to read something, I'm reading that to other people, right? It's like
Yes.
I like to relate a lot reading music with like being able, like as a kid, to learn the words and read a book. Like you can read a book and you can just read it, you know, uh, uh, just read it out loud, or you can tell a
Mm-hmm.
story with it,
Mm-hmm.
or you can
Mm-hmm.
tell a story. And that's what we need to do with music. We need to tell a story. We need to, whatever it is. Sometimes it's random, like life. It can be happy, it can be sad, but it can be random too, right?
Yes.
And I think that's
Organic, right? Organic.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Wow, wow. So, man, incredible clinic and an incredible application. Uh,
Thank you so
Thank you
much.
so much, Mr. Miranda, Gustavo Miranda,
Yes,
for
thank
for
you.
for for being willing to give from yourself, sir. One of the things that I want the audience to know, uh, guys, there's about 28 artists that you're gonna see between now and May 22nd, and none of them, none of them, and this is going to make the concept of this event even bigger than what we thought, because we see the lineup. It's like, man, Tim Jenna said there's so much star power in this event. And the thing is, they aren't charging us a penny, guys. They bought into the idea and the concept of doing this for our young youth, and for us too, the adults, because we need it. So, I think, we owe it to all of you guys that you are willing to do this, man, and we really really appreciate you. South Texas loves you and remembers you dearly, man, and we look forward to having you down again here,
Oh
in
yeah.
person, brother. Yeah.
Some tacos, some I can't wait to go to, what is it, Ultimo Tacos, and oh,
Oh yeah, yeah.
that place was amazing, yeah. Oh
Yes,
Lord.
yes, yes.
Thank
It's
you
it's
so much, Gilbert. Thank you so much for putting this together, man. Like, this is an incredible event. Like, I've been in and out all day today, as much as I can with my 2-year-old, like, daddy, daddy, but I'm watching the whole thing, So
yes,
Julie, that was really good.
yes,
This is incredible. Like, this is,
yes. Yes,
yeah.
I agree with you, and again, the consensus between between all of you guys was like, oh man, this guy and this guy are here, and they're gonna bring their A game. I
Yeah.
cannot be last if I'm ranked. Yeah, so it's making that even much better.
Yeah.
I applaud you guys. I applaud you, man. Thank you so much for doing this. So what do you say if we go into our next segment? We had some performances in the Performing Artist Series by a University of North Texas, but we seem to have run into a glitch with their files. So we are going to see some performances. It's going to be different groups though. Texas A&M Commerce, under
Nice.
the direction of Dr. Brian Zader, and the ensemble is called Perfectly Voiceless. You want to check it out?
Let's do it.
Okay, here we go.
All right.
We have one more performance, guys, that we are going to be watching, and this one is from here, Rio Grande Valley's very own. Uh, Ed Couch Elsa High School percussion studio under the direction of Mr. Joel Cázares. And all these ensembles that we've been seeing today is a testament of what still can be done, you know, despite of our situation, right? So and this one group, they took this piece to compete, and they made the semifinalists in WGI. So props to them, kudos. Ed Couch Elsa High School Percussion Studio for your accomplishments. And once in a blue moon, let's check it out. And up next, after this, Rich Redmond. Very well deserved. Very, very well deserved. Head coach Elsa, high school percussion. Congrats, congrats. Um, I have a friend here with me. I have a friend here with me uh, that I don't know if you guys know him. Uh, I think you do. Uh, Rich Redmond, how are you doing, brother?
Hey, how are you? But sorry about the headphone here. I've been playing drums all day with headphones.
You've been tracking all day long.
Yeah, how's it going for you guys? Is everybody having fun?
Yes, yes, absolutely. Incredible. Every single artist has and performances by the artist series groups, right? Amazing, man. It's been tons of fun, and wow, remember we started to plan this, Rich, months ago,
Yes,
and it's here, and it's wow.
it's happening. You did it. Yeah.
No, well, you and I were talking yesterday a little bit, and I want the people to know this. This event and the magnitude of what it is in large part due to user.
Oh,
I remember you were the first artist that I reached out to, and the words that came out of your mouth is, "Let's do it. What do you need?" I remember that. I remember that, and I was like, "What?" Like Rich Redmond just said that, and then I asked other people, and if Rich Redmond is doing it, I'm doing it,
oh.
and it went from one artist to like 8 in like less than a week, and then you also had a lot to do in having Ray Luzier and Dave DeCenso.
That's great.
Yeah, and when those two fine gentlemen came on board, it's like, oh my gosh, I started a small snowball and I threw it down. The moment you came aboard, the snowball got big. And
Oh,
then the moment those two came on board, it's like, holy cow. It's like, it just, and thank you, Rich.
oh,
Uh,
thank you. Well, it's a
I,
pleasure. I mean, it all starts with an idea. You had this amazing idea. Everyone had a rough year, and it's drums and percussion and this gift that we have that we decided to hone, and it's such a big thing. It changes people's lives. It changes our lives. It changes the people we entertain. It's a calling, and Ray and Dave and the whole collection of guys you got. This is just such a great thing, and congratulations to all the groups and the performers.
yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. Rich, have you ever presented your own clinic?
Yes.
Introduced your own clinic?
Oh no, I haven't.
Well, there's always
I
a
have-
first time for everything, and it happened here in VPF.
It did. Yes. What did I call this one? It has its own unique title for you. I think it's
Yes.
reading and styles for today's drummer.
Hmm.
And I'm actually sitting here with my longtime friend and drum tech, John Hull, who had a lot to do with. This is the first time we did an online clinic where we're using the 4 cameras, and we did a live line cut, and we're still learning and growing, but we're really happy what we pre-recorded. And John was actually the one that created this medley it's a 15-minute medley of some of Jason Aldean's hits, and it features some other folks like Eric Church and Ludacris and Kelly Clarkson.
Yes.
And so after I dry the sweat off from doing that, we'll get into like things like talking about the importance of reading, the importance of playing styles, and the importance of like learning what I call this teaching philosophy that I have called the money beats. So we squeeze it all into about 55, 60 minutes, and we hope you enjoy it.
Yes. Couldn't have said it better myself, sir. Here we go.
And I'm feeling like $1,000,000 stacked up all $100 bills. Got a whole 6-pack on ice, but I'm riding on the hottest wheel. Seat back and I'm curving, swerving, with my pedal to the metal like I'm racing. fastened on the plains of Oklahoma. Take a ride across the Badlands and feel that freedom on your face. Breathe in all that open space and meet a girl from Amarillo. You'll understand why God made you. You might even wanna plant your stakes in those flyover days. Don't you wanna stay here a little while? Don't you wanna hold each other tight? Don't you wanna fall asleep with me tonight? Don't you wanna stay here a little while? We can make forever feel this way. Don't you wanna stay? That old red dirt, the first thing you learn is you don't get nothing that you don't earn. Humble pride I grew up on. You find out just how bad you want it. The sun in our eyes and backs to the fences. We didn't know the odds were against us. Hit the wall, smoking and spinning. Still wasn't thinking about nothing but winning. That's the only way I know. But don't stop till everything's gone. Straight ahead, never turn around. Don't back up, don't back down. Maybe there's another path that'll get you there a little bit faster. But I'm sticking with the one inside of me. Hop off the bus, shake off the where you came from bus. Grab your guitar, walk down the street. Sign says Nashville, Tennessee. Just do your thing. Give up your keys. Hell, why drive when you can stay with me? And after a while, always stick away from the bonfire. Walk by the moonlight and down to the riverside. Got you sipping on some moonshine. Baby, if you're in the mood and you can settle for one night of rodeo, you could be my tail-leg Juliet. I'll be your redneck Romeo. Oh, baby, you can find me in the back of a jacked up tailgate, sitting around watching all these pretty things. A kid down in that Georgia clay, and I don't find tea at the bottom of a real tall cold drink. Chillin' with some Skinner and some old hangs. Let's get this thing started. It's my kind of party. Oh, baby, you can find me back of a jacked up tailgate, sitting around watching all these pretty things. It's my kind of party. I brace myself against the cold, let her memory take hold. Stirring that old fire up, as if I don't miss her enough. If that sun would have just hung up in that sky just a little bit, yeah, just a little bit longer. They float through all the waves to the state at her feet on the beach instead of going out with the tide. Had a little more summertime. People talk, girl, you know damn well, but when they got a good tale to tell,
What's up, Valley Percussion Festival? Rich Redmond here. I'm so excited to be here today. Our friend Gil Garcia, big hand for him and his entire team, Valley Percussion Festival. Thank you guys for having me and all the world-class clinicians and educators. Such a fun time. So that first song that I opened with is actually a medley, and it's really fun. And if you notice, that's kind of a style that I'm known for, kind of like a rockin' country style, rooted very much in classic rock and Motown influences. And I'm not necessarily reinventing the wheel. I'm just doing what I do with a lot of attitude, a lot of passion, a lot of fire, a lot of focus. And I think a signature of the style is a strong backbeat, so 2 and 4 on the snare drum. That's where everyone claps their hands on 2 and 4. Very defined kick drum patterns, so beats that are memorable, that say maybe a soccer mom could drum out on the steering wheel when she's dropping her kids off to soccer. So I want to make sure that I'm affecting those people, the regular folks out in the audience that want to dance and all that, and stylistically appropriate fills that are from like the Motown, Stax Records, classic rock school of thought. And then also in my mind, I'm thinking about 3 things: time, groove, and feel. So drumming, it's all about time. As drummers, we're not the only person in the band that's responsible for time, but really it kind of starts and stops with us. We have to have the strongest sense of time. So something that is in time means that if you put on a metronome, you're right with that metronome or very close around it for 3.5 minutes, which is your average pop song, country song, rock song. Also, within playing something in time, you want to make it feel good. You want to inspire people to dance and connect and move their bodies. Early on in my career, when I was playing in dance bands and top 40 bands, I knew I was doing a good job if there was a lot of dancers on the dance floor. So that's still something I kind of tie into. And then also making things groove. And a lot of drummers talk about groove. What is groove? It's some mystical thing that you either have or you don't have. But I'm telling you, groove is just that extra special factor. That's certain something that defines each and every one of us drummers. And Steve Gadd is going to have a different feel and groove and essence than a Steve Jordan. So you could take any Steve that's a drummer, and they're all going to have this special it factor or certain characteristics that make them tick. And also, I'll just give you some quick advice. Don't compare yourself to other people because you are so special. You are a snowflake. You are one of a kind. So all you have to do is realize that good composers borrow, but great composers steal. So as drummers, all throughout every season of our life, we're always stealing. Even if I don't have a lot of time on the instrument anymore because I'm traveling so much or I'm playing, I'm always stealing, right? And I'm always trying to accentuate the positive and steal great stuff that I can use in my own playing from other drummers. Another thing I like to focus on with my stylistic approach is to shape the vocal, kind of nudge the vocal, flirt with the vocal, help the vocal tell the story, right? Because really popular music is telling stories of the common man and what happens with love and loss and the trials and tribulations of life. And we want to put it into 3.5 minutes. And as drummers, it's really our job to do something special, have our Mona Lisa moments, but really stay out of the way and help that story be told. Another thing that we can do is help to outline an arrangement. And we can do that by having focused kick drum patterns, have a consistent 2 and 4, really choosing our phrases, using stylistically appropriate fills to shape phrases, using the colors on the drums. You notice on the drums we have long sounds like the bass drum and the cymbals, and short sounds like a hi-hat bark, psst, or a rim shot on the snare drum, and combining those things in a musical way and having a musical mind where we can actually shape the arrangement of the song. So that's really a style that I have really focused on in the last 20 years in Nashville. And what Nashville taught me was how to play a song and how to, like I said, have your Mona Lisa moments, make something that's very memorable, but for the most part, stay out of the way. And if there's some things that I learned over the year is the KISS principle of drumming, which is keep it simple, stupid, and just literally play a nice solid beat, be musical, shape the phrases, and stay out of the way. Now, here, this clinic I like to call Reading in Styles for Today's Drummer. And check it out. I read this entire arrangement. Okay, so here was that medley that I opened with. Everything is written out, all the kick drum and snare drum patterns, some exact fills, where cymbal crashes are, where the colors happen on the drum set, where I use a cross stick, where I use a snare drum, where I go to a loose hi-hat, where I go to the ride cymbal, where I play the bell of the ride cymbal. It's all kind of written out. And I'll just tell you that reading music is one skill set that time and time and time and time again for the last 30 years has helped me have a career in drumming. It's helped me pay the mortgage and buy the fancy Chuck Taylors. You can do it by reading music. Why? Because when you know how to read music, the world is your oyster. You can go out, say you want to work on the drumming styles of Neil Peart, or let's say John Bonham or Stuart Copeland. Well, there's books that exist on all those subjects where all their licks are written out. And so if you can read that stuff, you could steal it and add it to your bag of tricks. The other thing you'll be able to do is open yourself up to tons of stylistic opportunities, like playing Broadway, playing off-Broadway touring productions, playing on cruise ships, doing tribute shows. You can play in top 40 bands. You could play percussion at the coffee house with the local female celebrity singer. You can do recording sessions in famous recording studios like Capitol Records in Los Angeles, or Treasure Isle Studios in Nashville, or your own tracking facility. This is my tracking facility where I play tracks for people, singer-songwriters from around the world. And so the reading the music has helped me and has separated me from the pack from some self-taught drummers that play by rote. What if you get the call and someone says, I need for you to sub for our drummer, he broke his toe. We're doing 5 sets of music, 45 minutes on, 15 minutes off. 45 minutes on 15, and we're doing 60 songs. You're never going to learn 60 songs overnight and not be able to read music. You have to be able to scribble out a little bit of a chart. And even playing television shows. Like this is the song Lights Come On by Jason Aldean, and I compressed the entire arrangement into a little 4x6 recipe card. Now that recipe card I could tape to the rim of the drum or the high tom or right over here, and I could get those cute little lights, and no one knows I'm reading. I could just kind of glance down and read ahead and catch the phrases and play the exact drum part. So the audience, sometimes we mime to tracks. We're like become actors, and when we play these award shows, we'll stuff the drums or put heads, fake, they call them video heads on the drums, and video cymbals, which are 2 cymbals that are glued together. So my goal is to play that song perfectly so the audience thinks we're actually playing the song, and when the cameraman is on me, I know that I've nailed my part. So once again, reading rears its ugly head. So we're going to talk about that a lot during this, and we're going to talk about some styles. Now, the first style I'd like to talk about is an idea that I call the money beats, okay? Is this a guarantee that you're going to make it as a full-fledged percussionist for the rest of your life? No, but this is how you kick the door open to playing popular music. It's 5 beats, 5 kick drum and snare drum relationships, and I actually outline these beats in a book I wrote called Fundamentals of Drumming for Kids ages 5 to 10. And what does that tell you? It tells you that learning these beats works for a 5-year-old or a 50-year-old man that acts like a 5-year-old. All right, so those 5 beats I'm going to demonstrate for you. The first one you've heard in everything from the music of ABBA to the music of Zappa, and it goes like this. 1, 2, 3. Right? 1 and 3 on the kick drum, 2 and 4 on the snare drum, 1/8 notes, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and on the hi-hat. Now we're going to talk about different seasonings that we can come up with on the hi-hat and the ride cymbal, as well as using the left foot. But let me demonstrate these other 4 beats that make up the mighty 5 money beats. Number 2 I like to call the heartbeat. Boom, ka, boom, boom, ka. This beat will never go out of style. It's used in everything from funk to folk to fusion. And it goes like this. 1, 2, 3. All right, number 3, we're going to just displace our kick drum note by 1/8 note. Instead of playing 1, 2, and 3, we're going to play 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now this is like a basic beat that if somebody walks into Guitar Center on a Saturday, you're going to hear this beat a lot. And it goes like this. 1, 2, 3. Next is straight out of the Queen playbook, We Will Rock You, but just a little bit faster. So if you listen to the music of like Everclear, some of those 90s bands, this one was used a lot. It goes like this. 1, 2, 3. And last but not least is what they call 4 on the floor. So kick drum on all 4 beats, like the marching band, 2 and 4 on the snare drum, 8th notes on the hi-hat. Actually one of the most challenging beats to play because you want to avoid the kick flamming with the snare. You want to lock that snare drum in there right with the kick drum, doof, 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 right? And we're watching our music these days. We're recording music where we're looking at Pro Tools, we're looking at waveforms. So save the engineer or the producer tons of time behind Pro Tools having to edit your drum parts. So you just want to lock it in and make it as secure as possible. Goes like this, 1, 2. Great, those are your 5 beats. So boom, crack, boom, crack, boom, crack, boom, boom, crack, boom, crack, boom, boom, crack, boom, boom, crack, boom, boom, crack, 4 on the floor. Now look at just some basic things we could do with the hi-hat to change the seasoning of the grooves, right? I do a fair amount of recording work, and when you go into the studio, you want to be able to give the songwriter, the artist, the producer, the guys on the floor, the engineer, you want to give them sonic options. And the slightest little thing could shape the song in such a different way. So let's take our heartbeat groove, boom, whack, boom, boom. And I'll show you some different things you could do on the hi-hat. Also, notice this attention to detail. There, you can use the shank of the stick. You can also use the tip of the stick. Tip of the stick, this is going to create, look at this, sounds completely different. Or an accent there. And the shank of the stick. So kind of going back and forth, this motion, shank, tip, shank, tip, shank, tip, and it'll become muscle memory for you the more you do it. And when I think about this in a 16th fashion, I always think of the great Jeff Porcaro. He always had that thing going. It also works for faster tempos. Billy Idol, right? White Wedding. Okay, so let me show you some different things that you can do to get some different feels across by using different parts of the stick and different sonic variations on the hi-hat by opening or loosening it. Here we go. Boom, ka, boom, boom, ka, boom, ka, boom. So right there, if you're thinking about time, groove, and feel, the basic pattern, that relationship, I was trying to lock that down as hard as humanly possible, and then using these different subdivisions on the hi-hat. So I had just quarter notes with the shank of the stick. Then I had the shank of the stick accenting the downbeat. I had the shank of the stick on the upbeat to give it kind of like a forward, kind of more fusion-y percolation style. Then I had all accented eighth notes. So I like to call it the 8/8 feel because there's 8 eighth notes in a measure. So kind of like almost like what Alex Van Halen would play. And then I had just nasty, sloshy quarter notes. And then I had nasty, sloshy eighth notes. And then I went into playing some 16th notes on the hi-hat with a little bit of a lope to it, using some drags and stuff I picked up from the marching band. And then I went into kind of like almost like an upbeat disco type thing on the hi-hat. So there's like 10 different feels for you, but the kick drum relationship and the snare drum relationship stays the same. They stay married together. One of the things I notice in teaching a lot of young musicians is I'll say play something. And the first thing they do is start playing 4 measures with no consistent pattern on the kick drum, hi-hat being opened in random places and fills in random places. I challenge you to play these money beats with no subdivisions on the snare drum. Don't change the hi-hat. Don't change the kick drum pattern. Don't play a crash cymbal. Don't do a fill. Start there. Be able to lock that down for 3.5 minutes. All right. So another thing that I like to talk about with the money beats, just to maximize your sonic possibilities, is when you take the right hand and you go over to the ride cymbal. Now we're dealing with true 4-way coordination. All right. So on the ride cymbal, same concept as over here on the hi-hat. You can do quarter notes. You could play accented quarter notes with the 8th notes. You could play upbeat accents. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. You could play all the 8th notes in the measure. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Right? Then we can start getting into the shank of the stick on the bell of the ride. We can do just quarter notes. 8th notes. Upbeats. Right? All 8th notes. And then you can get into playing the shank of the stick on the ride cymbal, almost like what they call a shoulder crash in jazz music. Just getting a little bit of the shoulder of the stick in there to get things to open up. So, and if you want to go do a big tattooed rock tour, then you're going to have to get the shank of the stick and you get on the edge of the cymbal. And you can get some nice wash going. So I'm going to play money beat number 3 for you, and I'm going to do some variations over here on the right side. And notice that my left foot isn't just sitting here. I'm utilizing it. It's part of the drum set. So I want you to, at the very minimum, is every time you hit that snare drum on 2 and 4, reinforce that backbeat with this hi-hat, okay? Here we go. I'll do a couple of variations for you on the ride cymbal with money beat number 3. Boom, ga, boom, boom, ga. Oh, 1, 2, 3. Now let me tell you, you can use a lot of these techniques in one song. We have a song called Flyover States, and literally I use all the colors on the drums where when I come in at the top of the song, washy ride cymbal. Then I go to the verse of the song, tight hi-hat. First chorus comes up, the hi-hat's a little looser. Then I go to the first chorus and I'm playing mostly with the tip and the shank of the stick, occasionally hitting some accents. Second chorus comes, the hi-hat's even looser. Go to the solo on the song, and I might be what they call tanging the hump. I'm on the bell. Here's the hump, and I'm tanging it. And then as I go to the bridge and the solo builds and the song is going towards the fade, I might get more of the shank of the stick on the right cymbal to get it that kind of Phil Spector wall of sound, and I start by adding some bursts of color on the crashes, and then towards the end I'm straight up riding on the crash like a Nickelback song or something. All right, so you can make these musical choices to actually have a dynamic quality in the music and help shape the arrangement. Okay, now my challenge to you and ending up this money beat section of the clinic is to use this left foot. So just remember this training matrix. I want you guys to be able to do 2 and 4 on the hi-hat, quarter notes on the hi-hat, upbeats on the hi-hat, 8th notes on the hi-hat, and splash on at least 2 and 4. If you could splash on 1 and 3, it makes things kind of sound kind of Latin. It kind of emulates like a Guido part from my friend Wally Rafadas. So that's what I want you to do. So now I'm going to quietly play money beat number 3 with a cross stick, and focus on my left foot and the variations. So any beat you come across, any beat you create, any beat you copy, any beat you transcribe, throw through this matrix so you can have your coordination flexibility to make artistic choices in the moment. All right, Rich, stop talking. Here we go. Oh, 1, 2, 4, and. The hi-hat is reinforcing the backbeat. We can do this, quarter notes, upbeat, eighth notes. That really drives the song. Works good in choruses, solos, outros. We got splash, 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 right? And we have splash, 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 splash. We could also all right, so 2 and 4, quarter notes, upbeats, eighth notes. 2 and 4 reinforces the backbeat. Quarter notes tells all the guys in the band, hey, that's where the quarter note is. Will Ferrell's in the house, guys. Those are our quarter notes. Upbeats give us a driving percolation. Eighth notes really drive the song. Then we have a splash, and I love the splash, and I use it as a stylistic thing in my playing because I practiced it so much. It's part of my muscle memory. So check this out. We have a song called let's see, it is Johnny Cash. It was actually part of that medley. Now, it's kind of like a Peter Criss thing. I stole it straight out of the Kiss playbook. Here is the beat without the hi-hat, right? So we got... So, it's confident, it's musical, it rocks, but now I'm going to add the splash on 2 and 4. It makes it so much more interesting. It sounds like there's a percussionist in the band. 1, 2, 3... So just having that little percussive element in there just adds so much. So, and my advice to you guys, anytime you want to add a new technique, a new trick, a new thing to your drumming playbook, focus on that technique, be very methodical about it, play it with a metronome. All right, now we're moving on to talking about some styles. Why do we want to learn styles? I've got this thing called More Styles Every Drummer Should Know, okay? And if you guys reach out to me, I'll email you. I'll send you the PDFs. I mean, I also got another gift for you guys. Go to my website, richredmond.com. Go to the shop icon. There on that page, for free, is about a collection of 10 PDF books. Every Jason Aldean and Thompson Square song I've ever played on, we're talking over 100 songs, completely transcribed. So if you want to work on your reading, which I highly recommend, you're killing 3 stones. You're working on your reading, you're working on your musicianship, and you're working on your comprehension of a style of music that's doing very well right now, right? So check that out, and that's all for free, and that's my gift to you guys. So more styles. Why do we want to learn more styles? Well, check this out. Even if you just want to be a great jazz drummer, I think it's really important for you to study some funk and rock and R&B and Latin drumming. If you want to be a great drummer, a great rock drummer, you might listen to the holy grail of rock drummers, your Keith Moons, your John Bottoms, your Ringo Starrs, your Charlie Watts. But it's also great to know where those guys got their influences and who their favorite drummers are. Now, I always wanted to be a great rock drummer. I consider myself to be an overeducated rock drummer because in school, and I highly recommend this, I studied vibraphone and timpani and xylophone and glockenspiel and how to do a one-handed roll on the tambourine and how to properly play the castanets and how to choose the right mallets to play a beautifully executed cymbal roll on that Percy Grainger song, and how to get a good sound on the timpani. And learning the timpani was great because you learn about note values. Off, 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 off. Articulation and touch. All that stuff is going to have a positive effect on your playing. So these are some styles I think you should have in your bag of tricks. 2-step shuffle, a country shuffle, a double shuffle, like a Texas shuffle, where the hands are doing the same thing. The Lindy beat, which is basically a beat from early rock and roll, kind of like that whole thing. The train beat, which is when you're moving to the 615 area code, Nashville, Tennessee, at the border to the state, there's somebody that actually is like, "You're a drummer? Play me a train beat." And if you could play the train beat, they will let you in. You could play it with brushes, you could play it with hot rods, you could play it with sticks. Then there's the Motown beat, and I highly recommend this style, Pistol Allen, Benny Benjamin, Uriel Jones, Jack Ashford. If you watch Standing in the Shadows of Motown, this is a highly educational documentary film. These guys shaped the sound of modern music. We are still copying these guys. Calypso. If you've seen The Little Mermaid, Under the Sea, you've seen Calypso music or heard Calypso music. Soca music. And people like Pitbull and Mark Anthony and Shakira are like just taking this style to the bank. There's a songo style that is created by a world-class drummer named Changuito. And there is the samba, which is Brazil's native style, and there's the bossa nova, which is a slightly slower version of the samba. There's that Mozambique, which another one of your clinicians, the great Steve Gadd, developed and mastered and sold to the masses through his work with Paul Simon. There's Southern California punk music, and then there's some second line music that comes straight out of New Orleans. So I thought I would kind of like run some of these styles down, and then maybe we can pick some of these things apart just a little bit. We doing good, John? John Hull is on Pro Tools. You can't see him, but maybe the camera will pan to him eventually. All right, hit it, John. That seemed a little bit polite, but you guys can see the flow from one style and how that quarter note can relate to all those styles. When I was coming up at the University of North Texas studying with Henry Oxtel and Robert Chitroma and Ron Fink and the great Ed Soph, I would go into my practice room and I would put a quarter note click on and I would see how many styles I can make a transition. So going from a straight subdivision, so the quarter note is the same, but working on these different styles. Am I getting the time, John? Am I on time? All right, I got this. Is great here. Okay, we're moving on to the third style. So that is my ask of you guys. Do yourself a favor and get some of this stylistic knowledge into your bag of tricks, okay? You don't have to be a master of everything, but having these little seasonings in your playing is going to make you a different, more special version of the drummer you want to be. And the more styles you understand, the more musical mind that you'll have, you'll be able to go out, get more gigs, and attract opportunities to yourself. And that's what we want. We want tons of opportunities to come to us so we can be in these organizations and bands, do auditions, and find our voice. I never thought I was going to come to Nashville and play this kind of music, but a series of events and handshakes and peoples and personalities and opportunities came my way, and here I am almost 25 years later. So don't shoot yourself in the foot. Go out there, get the knowledge, learn as many different styles of music as you can, all right? I think wedding drummers are great. I think wedding drummers are awesome because at the beginning of the evening, you're playing smooth jazz or brush jazz. You work your way into Motown. By the end of the night, you're playing The Village People or Gloria Gaynor or Iggy Azalea, and that is a versatile drummer. Okay, so that's my take on that. Now let's talk about reading. Get a quick drink of water here. Are we having fun, guys? Are we having fun? I wish we were all in the same room, just kind of doing the same thing at the same time, but Gilbert Garcia, let's hear it for Gil again. Putting this all together. Okay, there's a great book that I want you guys to pick up, and I know some teachers think, oh, it's old news, but I think it's such a valuable book. It's called the Ted Reed Syncopation for the Modern Drummer. Now, there's a page out of this book, depending on what version you have. I enjoy page 37 or 38, like I said, depending on what year of your book is. But I've got to completely memorize the first two lines, and I'll sing it for you. The first two lines, page 37 and 38, Ted Reed book. Da 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 da. Oh, da 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 do da do da 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 da. That was kind of me doing like a drum scat, right? But I can also count it. 1 and 3, 4, 1, 2, and 1, 2, 3, and 1 and 3. Rest. 1 and 3 and 1, 2 and 4 and 3, 4 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, so if you can read those kind of basic rhythms, you are on your way to empowering yourself to, like I say, attract more opportunities to yourself. Let's go down this lane here. We have 5 minutes? Okay, 5 minutes total? Johnny? Okay, good. So if we're using natural sticking, I think, first of all, counting is very important. But if you just have a series of eighth notes, let's use the eighth note rule, which is when you play downbeats, it's going to be with the right hand. When you play upbeats, it's going to be with the left hand. So if you're just doing natural sticking, the sticking is going to be right, left, right, right, left, right, rest, right, left, right, right, left, right, da. If you have this book, guys, pull it up, and who knows, maybe Johnny will superimpose the music on top. I don't know. He's like, don't make me do that. Okay. So now that we can play that basic rhythm on one surface, we can add missing notes, or the implied notes are grace notes, and I'm going to play those as a tap. So I've been playing these strokes as full strokes, and I'm going to play taps as the missing notes, and it goes like this. One and 3 and 1, 2 and 4 and 3, 4 and 3 and. Now we can play all those missing notes or implied notes as diddles. Ready? And we're going to do a little bit faster. Let's go, let's go. All right, it sounds a little funny on the rim there, but you're adding the diddles in between all that stuff. Now, when you're working on your pad stuff, don't leave the feet out, okay? Because otherwise, you're only going to be qualified to be a snare drummer in the marching band or in drum corps. And it's hard to make a living doing that. We want to be able to play the drums. So here's some basic patterns you can use with any snare drum book. So get out the Pratt book, the Albright book, the Wilcoxon, the Ted Reed book. These are some foot patterns, and here they are. I'm going to outline them for you. Kick. It's kind of our walking rhythm, right? And then 4 on the floor with 2 and 4 on the hi-hat. We got this one, right? We got, all right, so start there. We've got walking, we've got 4 on the floor, we've got a boom chick thing, and we have like a boom chpa beam chpa boom, kind of a samba type vibe. So I'm going to play just boom chick, and I'm going to read the first 2 lines of the Ted Reed book. Ready? Da 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 da. How about you put it on the toms and you swing it? Check this out. Right? So we're getting places. Now, let's take the written rhythm. We're going to put it on the bass drum with a rock ostinato. Boom, boom. We're going to put the snare drum on 2 and 4, trying to get you guys as much information as possible in this 50 minutes. So we're going to take that written rhythm, we're going to put it on the kick drum, and it goes like this. A 1, 2, 3. What about the Motown thing? We do all 4 on the snare drum. How about a little bit Mickey Curry here? We use a cross stick on all 4. Read the written rhythm on the bass drum. How about halftime? Now, the rhythm that we see is what I like to call a macro rhythm or a big picture rhythm. Then it's up to us and our creativity to do some fun things with that. So I'll play that first line and I'll just break up the rhythm in a rock style between the kick and the snare. It goes like this. A 1, 2, 3. Now, you can always swing these things, and that goes for the money beats and the Ted Reed book. So we can try swinging this. We'll put the written figure on the kick drum with a shuffle rhythm on the snare and the hi-hat. 1, 2, ready, on. How about a samba? And we'll read the rhythm with the snares off here. So this is endless possibilities. And so when you work on this concept, you're going to be working on your styles, you're going to be working on your timekeeping, you're going to be working on your coordination. It's going to give you solo ideas, it's going to help you develop chops, and you're going to be able to get some fill ideas out of this stuff. Like, what if you took some of that first line, let's just take that first rhythm, bop, 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 bop. And I think we heard some of that stuff in some of the tracks I did with the medley. Bop, 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 bop. What if I put the bass drum in the missing notes and you get this? Ready, and... Now let me put the bass drum in that whole first line of the Ted Reed book and we get this, 3, 4. So you see what we're getting into here. But my goal for you guys, my dream for you guys and gals, is for you to be able to hear a song on the radio and chart it out almost in real time. The phrases, the licks, the kick and snare drum relationships. And what else would I want you to do? Oh, I want you to be able to go to a recording studio or to a cruise ship or to an off-Broadway production, and someone's going to give you a chart and you're going to be able to read it down, okay? And there's some guys in New York and LA that play on all the big Marvel movies, and no mistakes allowed, guys. These guys are world-class readers, but getting your reading up, getting your understanding of styles is going to help you in no matter what direction you go in today in today's modern drumming. All right, so this was almost just a one take, guys, no editing, but it was just awesome to spend this time with you, share some of these insights. This stuff works for me. I'm pretty easy to get a hold of. richredmond.com, REDMOND, is a great way to keep in touch. Keep drumming, stay safe, and spread some love, guys. Thanks so much for having me. And a big hand to John Hall for being Martin Scorsese and the Engineer of the Year behind the desk over there. Thanks so much, guys. We'll see you next time. Have a great day.
Where's a guy in a steel toes covered in dirt, just a rock and roll t-shirt, headed to work with a pack of Red Man in his pocket. He's kind of red, man, but he's rocking. Where's a beat up Tilly and a Marshall stack, little Marshall Tucker and a six-pack. Where's the good old boys and the good old days, straight up getting sideways. We back, we back, we back in the speakers, back in black, getting blasted in the bleachers. It's probably true what my mama said, I do it just like my daddy did. We back, we back, we back in the saddle, back on stage making the whole place rattle. Back with the 18 train on the track, thought we were gone but you're wrong, now it's on. We back. Where's the chick wearing blue jeans, a little too tight, got a grip on the koozie if it's what she likes, getting picked up and a picked up, kicking it with guys like us. We back, we back, we back in the speakers, back in black, getting blasted in the bleachers. It's probably true what my mama said, I do it just like my daddy did. We back, we back, we back in the saddle, back on stage making the whole place rattle. Back with the 18 train on the track, thought we were gone but you're wrong, now it's on. We back. Sun comes up and sun goes down. Yeah. Everything good comes back around. We back, we back, we back in the speakers, back in black, getting blasted in the bleachers. It's probably true what my mama said, I do it just like my daddy did. We back, we back, we back in the saddle, back on stage making the whole place rattle. Back with the 18 train on the track, thought we were gone but you're wrong, now it's on. We back. Thought we were gone but you're wrong, now it's on. We back. We back, we back, we back in the saddle, back on stage making the whole place rattle. Back with the 18 train on the track, thought we were gone but you're wrong, now it's on. We back.
You outdid yourself, brother. You outdid yourself, man.
Oh man, thank you. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I was I don't know if on your end if the technology is like freezing up a little bit and stuff, but hey, it's just part of it.
Yeah, it's when you do a virtual event, you're exposed to not Mother Nature, but Mother Technology, I guess.
Yeah, Mother
Yeah.
Wi-Fi, Mother Google.
Yes. Yeah. Uh, Brother, informative. Yeah, I was telling one of somebody had messaged me earlier, and the comment was brought up how you make the concepts so simple and so easy, so that even a total beginner can understand, and the way that you play and the way that you uh, 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 bring your message across, it's inspiring, man,
Oh,
inspiring.
thank
Thank
you
you
so
so
much.
so much, man. It's um, so much we owe to you, Rich, for making this event, uh, the magnitude and that it happened, and thank you, man.
Oh,
Thank
it's
you
my
so
pleasure.
so
It's
much.
it's all from the heart, right? It's everything is the heart and the mind and connecting it. And music is is a beautiful gift. And a lot of us have had a rough year, so it was nice for us to all get together in our computers.
Yes, and literally, to you know a lot of the times we hear the talk like, man, I wish I could go see this artist, or man, I wish I could go and learn from this professor, or man, I wish I could go and learn that one lick. And these opportunities are kids, the majority of them don't have it. When can a student go and study in person with Rich Redmond, or with Jim Riley, or with Julie Davila? It won't
Yeah.
happen. And due to this means, literally, Rich Redmond came to your device, wherever you're at. Rich
That's scary.
Redmond came to your came to your place of work, came to your living room, and taught you how to play the drum, and inspired you. And that's what I tell my personal students. I tell them, if I can inspire you, I don't care if you learn nothing from me, and you do all of the above. You do them at a high
Oh,
level, sir.
well, thank you so
Yes.
much, and I hope everybody enjoy. Are there any questions today? Does anybody have any questions?
I don't. I see comments. I see comments. What
Okay,
a
great. Oh,
clinic!
nice.
Amazing, awesomeness.
Oh,
Laying
nice.
it down. They loved your drum sound. Your drum sound. A comment was like a fat backbeat, the way it should be. So yes, Rich. Anything that you would like to
Well, I work with
tell
my
our
friend, John. I have a lot of help.
awesome, and anything you would
Oh,
like
geez.
to
Parting. If there's no questions, I would just say, everyone, keep doing this. You're playing one of man's first instruments. It really goes back, to the beginning of time, and we're really connected to this thing in our DNA. And we have this beautiful fraternity, sorority of drummers and percussionists. We hit things for a living. We somehow we coax music out of pieces of wood and metal and plastic. When you think about it, and it's just such a higher calling. And when you've been doing it for a long time and you're looking back on your life and all the experiences you've had, this is just such an amazing calling. And even if you never go into music like professionally after school or college, you're going to learn so many great things about like how to work in a team and how to be persistent and determined and set goals. And so if you're enjoying music, stay in it, stay in it for a lifetime. I mean, there's some people that go and they get, normal jobs during the week, but they cannot wait for Friday night because they're going out with their band to play, their favorite rock, they're in the best top 40 band in their town or something. And if you see people that are on the dance floor, they're mingling, you're doing your job. And so this
yes.
has just been such an amazing thing. And thanks to guys like you who invite me to, to do this teaching thing. I like to break it down and make it so easy for everyone, because I don't want to be the guy that scares people away from drumming. I want to be the guy that invites people into drumming. And
Yes.
it is worth every penny and second of time that you can put into it. So I hope
Yes,
everybody had a
yes.
great day. And I know that you have 2 more Saturdays.
Two more
And
Saturdays.
everybody, let's hear it for Gil. All right.
Oh man, it's
Mr. Gilbert Garcia.
in reality, it's thanks to you guys, Rich. It I just asked you if you wanted to do the clinic. You said yes. You had to put the clinic together. I just, asked. So the hard work laid on your shoulders, and you guys did it phenomenal, phenomenal. Rich, really quick, tell us about your crash course, because I know that you offer this, and you do it with companies, you do it with schools, you do it with
Yeah.
for different people, and just give us the in a little bit on it.
Sure. Well, thank you so much for asking. So, yeah, guys, I have a book that I wrote called Crash Course for Success: 5 Ways to Supercharge Your Personal and Professional Life. And thanks to our friend Jeff Bezos there at Amazon, anybody who has a great idea can become an author, which I think is a really great thing. And so you can get the book delivered to your house as a dead tree. You can download it to your Kindle or your iPad. Or if you sign up for audible.com, it's a free offering. You could download my book and I read the book to you. So the whole thing is based on a concept that I called CRASH, which is we're all drummers, so it's easy to remember. It's an acronym. It stands for commitment, relationships, attitude, skill, and hunger. So these are 5 things, just like the money beats are 5 things. I like the number 5. I love acronyms. I think I like ways for people to remember things and being able to soak it in and use it in their life. But this is 5 concepts you can use to enjoy a more successful life. And I think we all want to be more successful. So committing to learning the drums and percussion, it's a lifelong commitment. Realizing that relationships are so important. The reason why I'm doing this clinic is because I have a relationship with Mr. Garcia. He was able to text me. Attitude is so important in life. Attitude will separate you from the masses. People know when you're being sincere and enthusiastic. Skills are so important. That's what we put our 10,000 hours of in to become an expert, is learning the skills and never being satisfied with the skills we learned, but continuing to learn new skills. So because the world is moving so fast, we got to constantly be learning new skills. And then the last piece is staying hunger, tapping into that hunger to be successful, that fire that's in your belly, and realizing that passion is your engine and that hard work is the fuel. You fuel that engine with hard work. That's CRASH. And I like to bring it to kindergartners. I speak to at-risk youth, vocational groups, community colleges, Fortune 100 companies, and I customize the speech, which mixes drumming, storytelling, humor, and even roasting. I'll roast the school principal. I'll roast the CEO of the company. We just have a great time, and it's a totally customizable event. So if you're selling nails, I will tap into why making a nail is so important and why we need it and if I'm speaking to a group of students, sometimes it's just the music and art and dance program. Sometimes it's the entire student body, and somehow I have to maintain control of 1,000 kids in the bleachers in the cafetorium, which is always really fun. But I have the upper hand because I play drums, and everyone loves drums and everybody loves drummers. So if anybody's interested, we do that virtually. We could do it in person, and all the information is just at richredmond.com. So thanks for asking.
Awesome. Never. I've had the opportunity to see you live, and I know that our viewers, our attendees have seen you, and not once have you disappointed, sir. So,
Thank you.
yeah, your services are definitely a great investment, and hopefully many people reach out to you. Rich,
Well, thank you, Gilbert. Hey, there's a question. Alexander Knutson, I think it's probably a silent K, says, incredible clinic, thank you. Any advice for developing your inner time and so your inner clock? So great ways to do that are to constantly practice with a metronome. You could do it on your pad, but then remember to incorporate the feet, right? So everything you're working on your pad becomes practical once you add your feet. And then another thing you could do is practicing along with, like, in GarageBand or Pro Tools or Cubase or a drum machine, program a beat and then play that same beat on the drums, and the sound of your drums should sound like the drum machine. That means you're locking perfectly. Another thing you could do is to practice is to program like percussion parts and then play your favorite beat and lock with those percussion parts. And then of course, playing with records. The drum set is only 100 years old. So when you start working on styles that are like pre-Pro Tools drum machines, so like pre-early 80s, you'll notice that the time is more elastic. Things move, choruses speed up. And I think that's what we naturally want to do as performers with our heart. But then when Pro Tools came along, things started getting locked down into perfect time. So once you start getting into the late 80s, like say Tina Turner had a bunch of hits like What's Love Got to Do with It with a Lynn drum machine. And then when Pro Tools started coming in, we had the ability to take like just okay, people are okay musicians. And then we started like fixing everything. And that's why I
Yes.
feel like today's musicians, today's youth have such great time, because you guys grow up listening to recordings that have been totally scrubbed and fixed and played with a click track. So
Yes.
I say, practice with a drum machine, practice with a metronome, and then play with records. And then, of course, get out and play live music with real musicians so they can give you the stink eye, so they can give you the dirty look when you're speeding up or when you're slowing down or when you're playing too loud or when you're overfilling or when you're stepping on the vocal. And that's how you're going to grow, is because I got those dirty looks when I was a kid too, because I wasn't a savant. I wasn't somebody, I had to work hard at this instrument. I had a natural a tendency and a God-given talent, but I honored it by rolling up my sleeves and doing the hard work. And I think there's people that have more talent than me, but I just did a lot of work to get me to a place where I could be a good musician and be reliable and have a consistent reputation that precedes you. And then hopefully the phone will ring, and it takes a lot of time to get the phone to ring and to get it to ring consistently. So you just have to have patience and persistence, and you got to practice.
Yes. Keep shredding. Rich, what a way to close day one. What a way to close day one. Uh, Thank you very much. And we hope that you enjoyed the event. It was done with all our heart, and all the clinicians, the artists, and the educators that presented today did it from the bottom of their heart. They jumped on the opportunity. Some of them actually reached out to me. Can I be a part of it? So
Right.
it's a great thing, that brought us together today, and we have 2 more days. So make sure that you
Beautiful.
share it with everybody. Share, follow, and share, so that more people can benefit from this the following 2 weeks. Rich, thank you, man. And
Absolutely.
I guess this is when we say goodbye to the peeps and see them next week, right?
This is where we say not goodbye, but we'll see you soon. So I hope to come back to Texas soon in the flesh. And everybody, spread love, keep practicing, have a great time. Thanks for having me.
Yes, thank you, Rich. World,
Thank you,
see you
guys.
soon.